This is the weirdest man I have ever met. A couple and a half have finished taking money, and are about to leave. But I saw a masked man, standing on the opposite side motionless. This is Canada, 1 o'clock in the morning. In the dead of night 3 people can't help boo. Be afraid, looking at the masked man through the glass. 10 minutes passed, the other party is still as quiet as a virgin. Is it a dummy? It's not. The next second, he suddenly moved like a rabbit. Go straight towards a man walking his dog. Without saying a word, go up, and punch, then grab your head, and knock on the ground. The 3 people in the cash booth panicked instantly, and hurriedly looked for their mobile phones. Going to call the police. Unfortunately, none of the 3 people's mobile phones are around. They searched for a long time. There is no alarm button here. At this time, the masked man, after walking a personal belongings of the dog walker, go far away again. At this time, the yellow hair can't be stretched. He suggested that the 3 of them rush out and drive, and run. Anyway, there is only one person across the street. The single man said, how can you be sure he doesn't have an accomplice around? Huang Mao thinks it makes sense. He stopped acting. At present, the safest way is to stay here until tomorrow morning. But is it really that simple? Obviously not. The masked man took out a bunch of tools and went around to the back of the cash booth. Then there was a power outage, and after a while, there was a call again. But the heating stopped. You know, this is Canada. It's tens of degrees below zero at night. They simply can't stop. Indeed. Huang Mao kicked the ATM crazily, hoping to trigger the alarm device. Just then a police car passed by. They hurriedly shouted, but unfortunately, the police car drove by. 3 people instantly deflated, and suddenly Huang Mao thought of a way. The 3 made an amazing decision. Spell the order and help. Xiaoli took off her earrings. Single man takes off his watch. Huang Mao also took out his only cash. Walking out of the gate nervously, yellow hair stammered with fear. But no matter what Huang Mao said, her party never said a word. Huang Mao simply spelled it, and threw the money away. Taking advantage of the other party's spending efforts, he turned into a 100-meter Su Bingxian, and rushed into the car. The masked man followed slowly, and his companion was scared to pat the glass. Unexpectedly, the masked man cut the fuse of the car. Huang Mao panicked, so he quickly grabbed his mobile phone and called the police. At that moment, the masked man smashed the window, pulled the yellow hair to the ground, and kicked away the mobile phone. Fortunately, Huang Mao escaped. He rushed back to the cash booth desperately and finally escaped. But it didn't take long for the masked man to start the coquettish operation again. He picked up Xiaoli's mobile phone, along with the personal effects of the dog walker he killed. They were thrown into the trunk of Huang Mao. What the hell is he going to do? Xiaoli took out her lipstick, write the big words help on the glass. Just as the 3 men rubbed their hands to warm each other, another police car passed by. It seems to be the one before. Thank goodness, the police car stopped. The police got out of the car. The 3 men were frightened and kept shouting, watch your back, but the police didn't hear you. Suddenly he kicked the body, just connected to the walkie-talkie. Before I could speak, he was knocked down by a masked ma. In with a sap. The 3 men fell into despair again. I don't know how long it took. When the 3 people were discussing countermeasures, the gate was suddenly opened. Huang Mao and the single man didn't say anything. Go straight forward, and subdue the man in front of you. Then Huang Mao took a necklace, hold each other's neck, and soon the other party stopped struggling. Yes, he died. Did the masked man die so easily? They looked up, and the masked man was still standing there. Look closely at this man's wallet. It's broken. This is just an ordinary person who comes to withdraw money. The 3 people swaying mentality. At this time, there is more shame and uneasiness. It is said that a friend in need is a friend in need. And at this moment, Huang Mao and the single man began to throw pots at each other. And go to war, and single men are on top, made a desperate decision. He's going out, and it's a person. He pushed open the door and ran out. As a result, strange scene appeared. Single man tripped out of thin air. The masked man came out slowly, put away the steel wire. Yes, he also fell into the bureau set up by the masked man. Seeing a single man lying on the ground unable to move, Huang Mao wanted to come forward to rescue, but was held by Xiaoli. In desperation, Huang Mao pushed down Xiaoli. It's such a delayed effort. The single man is off the production line. Now there are only Huang Mao and Xiaoli left. They are together, then slowly get closer and closer. These 2 hearts are really big. With a loud noise, Huang Mao turned around and was pleasantly surprised to find that the single man is still alive. So taking advantage of the other party's knocking behind his back, they quietly left the pavilion and picked up the single man. Quickly take him back to the safe pavilion. Siryu, Sly injured, a rapidly falling body temperature. There is no time to waste anymore. Huang Mao is in a hurry. Grab the trash can and smash it wildly. The alarm still didn't go off. To make matters worse, the masked man blocked the door with his car. The single man suddenly began to twitch wildly. At the same time, the masked man began to pour water into the pavilion. Yellow hair instinctively unblocks. But obviously, it's useless. Two people can only find a way to lift the single man, put it in the corner and try to let the water drown your nose. Southeast and mouth slowly. Inadvertently, Huang Mao saw the trash can. He found a lighter in the pocket of a passerby who died tragically. And as long as the fire extinguishing device is triggered, they are very likely to be rescued, and the first attempt failed, second it. MPT also failed. At the same time, the masked man moved to the small stool. Sit opposite the third time, Xiaoli rode on Huang Mao's back. At last succeeded, and they were very happy. But the next second, Huang Mao didn't stand firm. Two people fell down directly. Xiaoli hit the back of her Eat and got the lunchbox on the spot. Before I could grieve, the car crashed in. Looking at the brothers and girlfriends gone, Huang Mao decided to spell. He took out his lighter, picked up half a bottle of wine on the ground, tear off a rag to make a Molotov cocktails. And, D then threw it at the masked man, and as the fire raged, Huang Makai saw clearly that it was just a doll sitting there. As the masked man walked slowly, Huang Mao was furious. A life-and-death war is inevitable. But just then, the police came. No one can think of it. It turned out to be yellow hair. Huang Mao looked up at the crowd, and the crowd of onlookers, nearly 1/3 of the people were clothes similar to those of masked men. Maybe the real body is in it, enjoying his works. It turns out that the camera in the cash booth, you can lie photograph indoors, but not outdoors. And Huang Mao and a single man killed passers-by, and smashing cash machines, fighting single men, pushing Xiaoli. All this makes the police suspect that Huang Mao is a mentally abnormal criminal. At the end of the story, the masked him, and returns to his lair. Start recording on the desktop. This sophisticated map and data, apparently. He's a recidivist with high emotional intelligence. It is no accident that these hours of slaughter, it's a well-designed hunting game. This silent killing may continue. Here are many good people in the world, but there are also many bad people. Not every psycho killer has a reason, most of the time they are just looking for excitement. So remember, you must protect yourself, and don't go out in the middle of the night.